Hiya! Hello and welcome to a new Dr. Donk tutorial. In this tutorial, we're gonna make a Dimitri K style kick. So, let's start. The BPM is set at 200. You can do it slower or faster. Doesn't matter since we're gonna use a synth and not a sample. So, let's pull up Serum. You can use any other synth you want for that. You can use 3x oscillator or any synth you want. We just need a saw wave and we need a sine wave. So let's start up with the saw wave. The saw wave, we set the volume at 0 dB because we're going to modulate it with this LFO right here. You can do it by right-clicking and doing an automation clip in your DAW, or I'm just going to use the built-in LFO in Serum. So we're going to use a shape like this. So we have a nice little impact. Let's put this on there so we can hear. I'm going to use F sharp for a note. So you have a nice little transient impact at the beginning, and then at the end it will ramp back up. So like the Dark Horror tutorial, which we had like this. In this tutorial, we're going to use it a bit different, like this. So you get more of this double bass, like this, where you have two parts, the two separate parts to the bass. Now we're going to put in a sub at direct out, so it doesn't affect any of these effects. If we use them, we will probably not, so it doesn't matter. I'm still going to use it because I use it, it's just muscle memory. So we now have just the same modulation on both of those. Like this. Let's just click track, so it gets designated to a nice mixer track channel, and let's start with the post-processing. We are gonna pull up an EQ. Doesn't matter if you use Pro Q2 or any other equalizer. I'm gonna use Pro Q2 because I like how it looks. Alright, so let's start by boosting some lows. Right here, let's cut some low mids around 100 Hertz. Maybe a bit higher. Maybe like this. We can fiddle around with these later on. And now we're going to select a peak, which we want as the main frequency peak for our kick drum. I like a pretty high sound. So let's use this frequency right here. Now we are going to need some distortion. So let's put on a fruity fast distorter. Already a pretty nice sound. And now, as you may have guessed if you watch my tutorials, here comes the secret sauce to all the kicks I do. It is, of course, trusty Filterbank. Now, here we have tiny Filterbank again. Let's pull up my preset, which just consists of a low pass, which you can see here with a pretty high Q. And this one just goes very way down to about, let me see, I can see it on my screen. Like around 50 to 100 Hertz at the cutoff. The next thing we have is just basically another low pass. You can see the low pass part right at the bottom, but we mainly just need a very high peak, so it's almost a band pass. So it's a combination of a low pass, which just boosts the bass a lot, and a band pass, which just boosts one specific frequency. So now, if you fiddle around with these, also, we have distortion on here, by the way. This is just going through distortion. Basically, you can just put another distortion after that. This does it in the plugin itself. We don't need any of these things down here. And there you go. It's basically everything we need. Now we can fiddle around with the different volume levels in here. And also with the phase. Because different phases will have different outcomes. Maybe do less distortion before we go into the other plugin. More like this. So this is a very nice sound. So you see, I'm just basically using I guess we can already leave out this distortion. Yes, I'm just using an equalizer and the Filterbank. The Filterbank you can basically do in every other DAW with stock plugins by just doing a parallel two parallel EQs. The one which is just the low end boosted very much, and the other one which is just a bandpass with a very narrow and sharp peak boosting a specific frequency you want. You can build this, for example, in FL Studio by using Patcher. If you pull up a Patcher, you can use this to just add two, for example, two EQs in here, add another one like this, and we need a distortion. So let's add my fruity fast distortion right here. This goes in here, this goes in here. So we start out parallel, this goes parallel, and then we go back to FL Studio. I've deactivated the filter bank so it doesn't take up any of the space. So now, if we play our sound through the distortion, and now fiddle around with these things. So the first thing we're going to do was, as I said, this very low passed sound. I'm going to do it a bit steeper though. Basically like this with a very high peak at the end. Like this. And the other one is just a bandpass. So this will be a bandpass. Also very steep. Like this. And this is basically the same thing Filterbank does. So we basically rebuild Filterbank, and now you can play around with this frequency in here. Maybe pull this one. More like that. And fiddle around with this frequency here. Maybe some more distortion at the end. See, it's that simple. That's basically how Filterbank works. You can add up those peaks to make it even stronger. So if you make it stronger in here, you also need to boost the bass a bit more to get this nice sound like that. So we just need to find the right sweet spot. For example, like that. This is basically just a rebuilt version of Filterbank. So let's switch back to Filterbank. See, it's almost the same sound. This one is a bit more distorted though, so we can take off a bit of the distortion. Not exactly at the right frequency, but you get the point. So it's basically the same thing. Alright, so now that you know how to do that, you can do it with every plugin you like. Another nice thing, which I like to use, is a soft clipper at the end. I always use a soft clipper at the end to just prevent clipping before I resample it. So in Edison, for example, if you go over 0 dB while recording it, you get other distortion artifacts than if you use a soft clipper before. So, just for safety, it doesn't clip at the moment, but we will make it clip to give it a different sound. For that, you can basically use anything that boosts the volume without distorting it. So let's see, if we use like any gain, for example, Kilohertz has a nice gain plugin, we can just boost the gain and the soft clipper will prevent it from going over 0 dB and clipping it down, which induces distortion. This will get a bit louder now, so I hope it doesn't pierce your ears too much, so get ready. So you see how it induces like the distortion from clipping. The TG1234 that I use, or 12345, is it 12345 or 12344? Is it 12345? The TG12345 I use has a very interesting input. If you put this very loud, also it induces noise from the filter bank. This is just the filter bank that induces self noise from so much gain boost here. If you put this through a soft clipper now, this will be very loud, but it gives it a very nice tonality. So get ready, I'm gonna play it in 3, 2, 1. You can hear like this nice flutteriness in the bass. I don't exactly know what in this plugin does that, but it sounds very, very nice. So I'm gonna use it. It sounds good without it. Oh, we deactivated the filter bank. But with, it's just this, this nice touch it gives it. You don't have to use it, so you can use it by basically just finding the right boosting plugin. I don't know if there's anything in FL Studio itself which gives it this nice sound. So maybe you find a plugin which does the same thing. I don't really know why this specific plugin does it. It's from Waves. It's the Abbey Road Studios TG12345. I got it for my other music I do over at the alias Patient Little Heart, where I do pop and emo stuff. Like pop and rock and emo, so you can listen to it. It sounds like this. And also, while we're in this little ad break right here, I can just push out my stream. I am streaming on Twitch at the time because I don't have an exam almost every day, so join me here. It's twitch.tv/epidemicstuff. You can see it right here over my head, so you can see me there. I do gaming. At the moment I play Skyrim Enderroll, the Enderroll mod for Skyrim, and a lot of Dark Souls and some horror games. So check it out if you like to support me while I do other things than music. So let's continue here. You already have a very, very nice sound. So let's put on this again and just record out this very nice kick and then make some variations. Wonderful. Okay. Put this to rest so we don't get this wind noise all the time. Cut this at the beginning and cut it at the end of the sample. And there we already have a sample. As always, the samples and kicks I will make in this video will be downloadable in the description below. So check that out down there. There will be a drive link where you can just download the kicks we will make today. So let's make a variation. For example, changing up the wavetable in Serum. What? Yes, you can just change up the wavetable and it will give you a different sound. So let's use another one from the stock Serum wavetables. For example, I can as kick. I don't know if this will make a good wavetable. Let's see and just try around. Fill around with the Filterbank. Ooh, very, very harsh tone. For example, this is a nice kick. This is also a bit lower maybe. Let's put the peak down there. Very nice and low kick. I like it. Let's record this. Clean this out. Oh, very nice and crunchy. All right. Let's choose another wavetable. Let's just use the next one. Cream. I hope this wavetable will make me cream in my pants if I hear the kick. This is just sub. It's just sub. There's still less information. Let's use a point where there's more information. Oh, we'll need to adjust the peaks in here. Okay, okay. Let's make a high peak again. Oh, okay. Also what you can do, shut up Filterbank. Also what you can do is use a different kind of filter. You can just change up the shapes if you do it in the patcher or in any other parallel EQ thing I explained earlier. For example, there's a filter called Low Pass Octave, which has two peaks, as you can see here. It is very tiny, I know. It has two frequency peaks, an octave apart. Very nice. So let's see how this may sound. Maybe also do two peaks in here. Ooh, very interesting sound. Very unique sound. This is a very, very unique sounding kick. So let's export this one as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let's do one more. This time I'm gonna do more of a dark horror kick because I really, really like dark horror type kicks. But let's do the shape we did in the first tutorial I made again, like this, and see what we can get out of this. Maybe let's switch it back to a saw wave. And activate Filterbank, maybe. That's a good idea. Oh, gosh. Okay, this peak has to go, and this one has to be more broad and at the bottom. This will make a nice sound. Let's put this back to the one bandpassy filter. Ooh! Yes, like this, but more bass. Let's also take out the sub for this one. Let's see how this sounds. Ooh, okay. This is a very nice and low kick. Alright, so just reduce it to one peak, boost the bass a bit more, and fiddle around with this filter right here. Also, we have just a tiny amount of sub bass in there. So let's record this kick right here. Very nice, alright. And now let's make another variation by boosting the sub bass all the way. So we get a nice peaky beginning. Like this. Wonderful. And also let's see how this sounds like if we put away the heavy gain boost here. So this is without the TG 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Also very nice kick. I'm just gonna give you that as a bonus on top. Wonderful. You can see how much quieter it is, so we can boost it right here. Wonderful. Okay. So now let's cut these up. This one will be a combined kick because the talk right here, it's not much information. Or I give it as two variations maybe. So you get the one where we just have the information from the normal sound we have, and the other one will be a more Frankenstein kick. From this one we will just need the very beginning. Alright, wonderful. And now let's just make 3 different kick variations. Like so. Okay, so we have the high impact kick, we have the first kick and the second kick. This one will have a bit more of a nice snappy transient at the beginning. Wonderful. Okay. Now let's also cut up this one as a 2-part kick. Right here. And then let's analyze what we did today. Okay, so the first kick we made sounds like this. Very nice. And here you can very well see or hear why I always do 2 kicks back to back. Because the first one has this very strong and defined transient. The second one, on the other hand, has a bit weaker transient because a bit of the bass from the first part is leaking into the beginning of the second part. So you can see here right at the beginning, this one has a bit more bass information in the beginning, whereas this one has more of the other information in the beginning. Compared to, you can clearly hear the difference. And that's why I always do 2 kicks at the time. Now, the second kick we did. Nice and low kick right there. Alright, the third one. This was the unique one with the double peaks. Very interesting because you have a very high and like about 1 or 2 octaves lower part where you always have the information in there. And then the last 2 kicks we did. This one was the low one where we had no TD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there, and this one is the one where we have TD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there with a strong talk, a weaker talk, and a more defined talk. Very nice. Alright, so I'm gonna call this the end of this tutorial. Thank you all so much for watching. Follow me on Instagram at It's Dr. Donk right there over my head. Also follow me on Twitch at EpidemicStub right there. And also, if you want to listen to more pop-oriented music, listen to Patient Little Heart right there. Wonderful. All the links are in the description as well as the downloads. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel, and see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye!